That parking spot used to be one of my favorite places to shoot environmental shots and time lapses off in the morning last year when I was doing the daily vlogs. Unfortunately, it is now a construction site. Gonna be the first workout in I think around 3 weeks, but it's also gonna be the start of a new routine. I'm doing a push-pull legs split. This is the same kind of split that I did last year during fall, and it's a very good way of getting into the habit of working out without putting too much pressure on yourself and going for the whole super body split bodybuilding thing that I did when I was doing bodybuilding. That was like a 6-day split that I did. It's wild. For those of you that don't really know about this concept, but push is everything that you push away from your body, and pull is everything that you pull towards your body, and then legs is legs. And there's not really any specific exercises that you have to do. Just make sure that you go ahead and do the exercises that feels good for you and push yourself to a limit in those exercises. That's the most important thing. I usually do try to switch it up a little bit though, because generally you should be doing tricep when you're doing a push workout, but I found it to be too exhausting for my triceps, so I tried to do bicep on the push workout and then tricep on the pull workout so that the muscle has healed when it's going back to business. I definitely feel that I'm out of shape. This is the current status as of August 8th. Still got the muffin top. A little bit of lack of core tension. That's one of the things that I've noticed when I stopped working out, is that I relax my belly so it starts to look more like this rather than this. When you're having a constant workout, it kind of retract itself, and then you have a better posture, and your muscles in your stomach is way better contracted during the day. Let's go. One of the first things that I did when I moved to my own apartment was to buy my own bed. It was a big bed. Like, I've never had a bed that big before, but it also cost a whole lot of money. So I decided to take that bed on a credit loan and pay that off over the course of years, because in my head, buying a bed is a good investment. So paying that off over the course of like 2 or 3 years wasn't that big of a deal. What I realized kind of quickly after buying the bed was that every single month I had an extra $150 that I had to pay on the bed. And after 6 months to a year, I started to feel really bad about buying the bed because I didn't want to pay the bed off in the way that I did. I basically just wanted it to be done. But at that time, I didn't have that good of an income because I was working on the logistics department in a hardware store. So basically all the money that I made went to groceries, paying the rent and bills and clothes and the debt that I had from buying the bed. And the thing is that even though I had the loan on the bed that I didn't like, I still took another loan in order to be able to afford something that I wanted. I vividly remember that I took a loan to buy a computer at that time as well. That was not a good idea. When you start stacking up the costs, then you start to realize that in order to have this thing, I need to pay this and this and this. And when it comes to electronics specifically, or tech, I would say, buying something on credit is something that you should never do unless you actually can make money back from buying the product that you took a loan for. And scroll forward a couple of years to when I started to gain my interest for photography and videography. I actually did that because I could not afford to buy a MacBook in order to be able to make the videos and edit the photos that I wanted to do. So I called up the credit giver and said, hey, I want to buy a computer. It costs $3,000. Is this something that you can give me? And they said, yes, of course, you can get this, and they have to pay this kind of interest and this and that. Here's the money. So I went out, I bought the computer, and I started to make money back from actually working with the computer. But I paid that off over the course of 12 months. But at that time, the money that I made from the computer was not sufficient to pay that off. So I had to pay it off with the paycheck that I got, which eventually left me with less money than I would have had if I didn't buy the computer. When you start stacking up different kind of loans, you also realize that you're paying a whole lot of interest, and then your monthly living cost starts to fall down hard, because if something happens to the interest rates, you're gonna have to pay way more interest than you initially thought of. When you have a loan that spans over a couple of years, then you get used to having that loan, and it's a part of your monthly expense. And when I decided to start my clothing business, this was the biggest mistake that I've ever did, but it also led me up to the point where I am today, because I believed so hard that I could get the apparel brand off the ground. So I decided to order a very big order that cost me $10,000, but I did not take in account on the import fees and import taxes and all that stuff that comes with ordering something from a country outside of the European Union. And scrolling forward for a couple of months, I got a letter from the customs department saying, hey, Peter, you got to pay an additional $12,000. So what I had to do then was that I had to take a loan in order to be able to pay the order that I thought was already paid. And I think that this was sometime in 2016 or 2017. And that loan is something that I've been paying off every single month ever since then. And during the course of 2018, I started to shift my mind into that I need to start saving money. I need to start having a buffer. I need to have money on the bank in case of something happens. And that's when I started saving money each month. I only started by saving $50 or $100 maximum, because I did not really have the habit of saving money. If you've never saved money, it's very easy to just spend the money instead. And the more that I started saving, I started putting it into index funds, I started putting in stocks. Over time, it started to grow, and I got more and more dividends paid out from different companies that I had invested in, and the increase of the stock prices made me get a head start to where I wanted to go with the savings. So by starting to save a little bit of money each month, it led me up to the point where I could actually get myself to become completely debt free. And even though I know that this is not going to be something that is going to be for the foreseeable future, since we're going to buy a house, it feels very good to just go in with the house loan as my only mortgage that I have to pay. I guess the whole takeaway with this story is that this is something that I've been working hard on for my entire adult life. It was something that I never thought would happen, and something that I've been pushing myself to do every single day. And ever since I started this YouTube channel, it has definitely helped me to achieve that goal faster, and my main channel as well, because that is what brings in the big bucks. It doesn't matter if you start saving $10 or $50 or $100 or $1,000 a month. Whatever you can put aside, you should put aside, not only in order to be able to secure your future, but also to have a buffer if something happens. It is very important.